So here is the main room itself, and here is of course the gigantic layout. So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you the DC section, and then we'll move on to the DCC section of this layout. But as you can tell, it is a fairly big layout. Now one thing I'll show you quickly is how this layout turns on. So down here we have this red button here, and this is what turns it on. So all you want to do is twist it and push it, and it turns it on. As you can see, some of the little signals now working. And of course the way you want to turn it off is that you just push the button, and that's it. But yeah, we'll just take a quick walk around. But as you can tell, yeah, it is a fairly big layout, which of course is no surprise for a club. It's a bit in the bare bones at the moment. We'll just move a lot of the scenery for now to get some work done. Here is the way the DC trains work. So that's the controller, just plugs into that. What we're planning to do is to make it so you can run 2 DC trains with 2 DC controllers. So there's a few of these type of ports here for that type of operation. And if you haven't already noticed, where the station is where you control the DCC. Obviously with those controls over there. But all in all, yeah, so now I'll go ahead and I'll, like I said before, show you the DC part first. So let me take out one of my locos and we'll follow it around the DC section of the layout. Alright, so here is the loco I'm going to use to shade it all. We're going to use 80/30, pulling just a little freight train. So this is pretty much the starting point for the DC section anyway. Obviously you got the main line, a couple little side lines. So with that, let me go to the controller and we'll start this tour off. And so all you need to do is just flick this switch that way and turn this little knob, and she should start moving. There we go. So we start out getting out of the yard into our only level crossing that is complete so far, and it's the only level crossing on the DC section. Next we enter this I guess you could just say mountainous type of area.
And just continue going up.
Then we come around this loop area here. Now down here is going to be a viaduct. It'll end right around here, but something also to mention is that we do have a few pictures of what it's going to look like. So as you can see, as what the picture says, this is what it's meant to look like. But yeah, after when we go through this curve, we start going downhill a bit. And now we get to one of the points where the DCC meets with the DC lines. So yeah, these two here are DCC, and this one that obviously we're on is the DC. So this is where it stays as 3 tracks for a while. This is probably where the most busiest section of the layout would be, where the most trains are. We have a little station with a little tom up there. After that, then we head down this curve. And then we now meet to one of the siding loops that the DC track has. Now this area here is meant to be supposedly it's meant to be a massive quarry. So you would have the quarry part more down here and some more buildings up top. Just around the corner, we now reach the end of the siding loop. And we're about to start heading to the probably the most steepest grade of this entire layout. I call this the devil grade, and it is. A lot of trains do struggle to get up here. As you can see, it just goes up and up and up. And as you can see, it's already starting to struggle. Well, we've made it up to the top of the hill, and speaking about hills, here's a mountain with a little elephant on there. As you can see, it just goes around. We went to one of our other stations. On one of the siding loops here. This is like another loop. And it crosses through, which we'll get to in a sec, and then it goes through this tunnel. And we'll just go straight down there. And there you go. So now we're going to make it, well, back to where we pretty much started, which was the main yard, at least in the DC section. So that's what the main DC line has to offer. Obviously it's not as big as the DCC section, but if you're still doing a reasonable speed, you're looking at around at least 5 minutes at reasonable speed. So now let me quickly show you the other bit of the DC that you haven't seen yet. So just off here from, well, the yard, this just a little track that just splits off. Just turns out into this, I guess you could say, loco facility. Now this isn't running yet, so that's why you haven't seen any videos of me running trains on here yet. But this was going to be an oil, fueling station, coal area for steam locos. Maybe some more carriage storage or something like that. And it goes through this tunnel, and then we enter back on the main line. Alright, so the next section I'll quickly show you is, of course, the DCC. Now, I don't have a train to run on here at the moment, so I'm just going to walk you through what everything is. So this is obviously, like I said before, the main area. This is where the main station is going to be. We do have a couple of pictures replicating this. As you can see, pretty sure it's meant to be sort of based on Flinders Street, if I'm correct. So you'll have 4 stations, or 4 platforms, and these are the bypass tracks. But I will go into more detail in a sec, but let's go ahead now and quickly show you what this is. Now this isn't like the actual start of the layout, but this is like more the middle section, so I'm just going to start on the more top area. So as we turn around, as you can see, we go from 4 tracks to 2. These are meant to be the 2 main line, like passenger lines, and these are meant to be the bypass tracks, so express or freight. This is actually not a siding, or meant to be, it's a reprogrammed track. If you're wondering what that was. So we'll go ahead and just follow this track along. And as you might be able to tell, there are a few signals around, which do work. And if you're wondering how you change them to green, all you got to do is flick this, turns green, or it will also turn green if a train goes past the next signal, obviously. But there's a little sensor there, if you can see that. So when I put my finger on it, as you can see, just turn back to red. As we go around, just with the picture, so the down track here, it's going to be like a tunnel. It's going to probably start around there, and over here is where the tunnel portal is going to be. So you can imagine a rock face going that way. Anyway, so just continue on. And again, this is where the DCC will meet with the DC, so we've pretty much seen all of that. So over here is where the DC and the DCC split off again. And funny enough, this is actually where it loops back around. So I'll quickly show you. So that's the DC and this is the DCC. As you can see, it just loops back around. So that is at least the top section of the DCC layout. So now let's go ahead and check the more bottom section. So we'll start off here. So like saying, this is meant to be the main yard. So you got the 2 passenger track lines, or normal lines, and you got the bypass tracks, and 2 freight tracks. And although it is bare bones at the moment, the roundhouse is meant to go there, and we'll have a few side tracks and stuff like that. What I'm going to do is I do have to have a few pictures of some examples that we have come up with. So as you can probably see, you'll know what I mean, like of what our design's going to be like. But with that, let's continue. So yeah, that's going to be the main yard, and it will just curve down here. And it'll just go into the abyss for a minute, and then it pops out just around here. And generally we're starting the down section. So it kind of does like the same as the top section pretty much. As you can imagine, this is probably going to be like a tunnel that goes from around here. This is probably where we're going to have possibly, because I did mention it to some of the club members, and they sort of think it's not a bad idea, that maybe we can add a little circus or a little showground area. To have a station here and have some either rides or circus tents and stuff like that. You let me know what you think in the comments. Originally they wanted to have fields and stuff like that, but you can let me know what's better if you want to share your opinions. Anyway, we go around, and here we probably come to the largest stations on the entire layout. These fins can probably definitely hold at least a 6-car end set, but as you can see, we have a little side-off track. So technically it's a free platform. One, you got 2 main lines, one for like a derm or a sprinter or something like that, or possibly like a small 3-car set, passenger set, you know, reverse, come back, you know how it goes. Have a little loco shed, and have where the track connects back up. So after that, it just loops back around, and then down here is where the quarry is meant to be going. And also, before you do mention, we are planning to add like little lights under here, so that way people can see more better. But here is, I guess, just like a side track or side loop or siding. It's one of those three. And then that's where it cuts off, back to double. And then here's where it gets a bit complicating. So the way this works is, it's kind of a lower upper hand here, but you got two different ways. So I think this top one goes into a yard, and we've got two different options here. This is this track that goes here will join up with this track. So that way, yeah, if you wanted to loop around that way, you could do that. Here's a little just siding loop. We've got the track on top of here. A station. And then here is our second yard, which is a 6-track yard. And the one the track here turns back into a 1-track or single, and then just heads down here. Now this one splits off and it heads around here, and that will bring you into the yard. And this one, oh yeah, sorry, that's the one that brings you to the yard. And then these two, if you just continue going straight, we'll just get you into a massive fiddle yard. And that, my friends, is the DCC section of the layout. So I have now showed you the entirety of the layout. So anyone who wanted to know, hopefully you got some idea of what the layout looks like and where everything goes. Obviously, as you can probably tell, a lot of work needs to be done, but we are slowly and surely getting there. But pretty soon we'll start wiring up like the level crossings and all the little lights that we need, stuff like that. And well, like I said before, we have started with doing cindling. So probably about another year or two and this layout will start looking good. But until then, this was just a quick tour video of the main big layout at our local club. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments. With that, I think that this will do for this video. Again, hopefully you did enjoy it. And I'll see you in my next video, whenever that is. So take care, guys, and I will see you next time.